Hello everyone, my name is Nathan and today it's time for another episode of Oxygen Not Included in the Ultimate Base 2.0. In the previous episode we have built this automatic paku farm. Today we shall see how this unravels. There are a few things we learned about pakus. For instance, they get tamed as you feed them with fish feeders. So right now their wilderness is decreasing, which is going to make them much more efficient. While they're wild, they only lay 1 egg per life cycle, and apparently it's like 20-fold if they are tamed. We also learned that duplicants are able to put stuff in the fish feeder through the door, or even a wall at that. It's kind of crazy. I had no idea. Some of you might also have noticed that we did drop the eggs right down the memory lane, so I decided to move the ladder 1 block over. I'm most likely gonna end up with a transit tube access in this room so that we can keep the climate separate from the outside world. You know what? As a matter of fact, we should already initiate this. I'm gonna deconstruct 1 more incubator, then we're gonna have our transit tube coming in from this side and set up the access point right away. Actually, it might still be an issue because we have stuff on the top here. Let me test that just to be sure. Can I not enter? No. Oh man. Things just got slightly more complicated. Yeah, I would have to rearrange a couple of things. I think I'm gonna wait with that. There are other more pressing issues right now. One change that is kind of a big change is that you can no longer place the heavy watt wires on top of solar panels. So as you can see right here, cannot be built inside of a tile. So I only have this power line because I did it previously to that update. So the developers clearly thought the solar panels are overpowered in that regard. Maybe just to keep playing with the rules of the game, I should disassemble everything. Right now we need just below 10 kilowatts of power. I mean, at this point we could easily switch to coal. The heat in here is definitely going to be a problem eventually. We will have to cool this down. But yeah, in theory we could just set up a room identical to this and have more coal generators going for it. So that would be 6 times 900 watts. If we have 12 of these, we would exceed our current power demands. You know what? I think this is a good change. We're going to replace this power transformer. All we have to do really is replace a couple of wires like so, and then have this go down like so. This can go and this can go, including the power transformer. Hopefully nothing goes wrong since I take away the power. No, I think everything should just come to a halt. And then we can go ahead and set up another one of these rooms. This actually worked out pretty niftily in my opinion. Gonna have a bunch of auto sweepers as well. We would just have to bring in the wire from a different side. Actually, we could do it from down below. Something like this is going to do the trick. And of course, we also want a power control station in the joint, and then we want to close everything off. I'm actually gonna wait with the generators and everything so that I can build the top layer first, since I will not be able to reach it otherwise. Another change I did between the episodes is I moved the polluted mud into this area now, and still the top storages are for polluted dirt, so we have plenty of food for our future poke shells that are gonna resupply our sand and some other important things. As for the volcanoes, they are going to erupt in approximately 2.5 cycles. We will have 2 eruptions at a time, so we will have a good overview whether or not the cooling system is gonna be enough, even under the heaviest of loads. Something else that happened in Otto's space is interesting. It actually got overpressurized and Otto is now very stressed, which is why I built him a massage table. So there he is enjoying a massage instead of working, but that is good. I don't want him to overreact. The problem is that I have stuff off-gassing here at the bottom and we only have very little carbon dioxide. So it can off-gas as much as it wants because the bottom layer is carbon dioxide at a very low. This was ongoing for a couple of cycles and now of course we have so much oxygen and everything in here that Otto's eardrums are popped and he's not the happiest duplicant right now. So one way we can solve that is by picking up everything that is capable of off-gassing and then hopefully in due time he's gonna breathe everything away. We could also use this gas pump to release the pressure a little bit. And I think I might just do that. So give me another option to actually activate this. And then if I'm not mistaken, we are just releasing it into the world. Yeah, there we go. I mean, we could deal with some more gases here, even if it is polluted oxygen. Okay, in the background, I'm still doing tons and tons of research. It is just so incredibly annoying that I had to redo portions of it. that I've already spent time doing. But I guess that's just how it goes. And Ren obviously had to get himself trapped like the biggest idiot. But I guess that's just how it goes with these duplicants. Let's make sure this room right here is gonna be fixed as soon as possible, and then we can disassemble some of the solar panels, because the way we use them now isn't in the game anymore. You can still get started with a whole bunch of solar panels, you only have to hook them up to small wiring. If you remember, you can go way above the limit of a cable if it is just supplying the power to the batteries. So all you would have to do in order to have so many solar panels is just supply everything with power transformers instead of the heavy watt wires. At least I believe that would be one option. Wonderful, everything has been built. We're getting rid of the ladders again and then replacing everything with the appropriate machinery. Hold the phone. Of course, one more thing we need is this joint plate there. Ah, look at that. I'm so glad the game is still running so smoothly at this point. Coal generators for days, thank you. And a little power station. Okay, just need to finish off this room, make it an actual power room. And then we also want to increase the priority of these coal generators to 7. And of course, wait. This needs to be hooked up to our automation wires. That is actually really important. Ren contracted food poisoning from eating mushroom. Did I not disallow this? Consumable? Yeah, mushrooms aren't allowed, so not sure what he was thinking. Let's also get rid of the fried mushroom altogether. Yeah, we're not actually cooking up the mushrooms anymore. Interesting, I would say, Ren, it's your own fault. Whoops, I hooked up the power transformer the wrong way. Let's bring this up and then, well, switch this guy around. Great, new power setup is in place. That means these power generators can now actually go. And let me think. We should probably move our smelting setup at some point. But it worked out great so far. Not too sure. Okay, it's almost time. Just one cycle to go. I'm not gonna move away so I don't actually miss it. Okay, now two things are happening at the same time. These guys actually just laid an egg and now we have 2 eggs and 2 pakus in the joint, which already makes them overcrowded. So we really can only take 1 extra egg over here. And we were even unluckier, they actually laid a tropical fry egg. Yeah, we were actually really unlucky to get a tropical egg, but maybe over time if they eat algae, that's what they do. Anyhow, this is one of the eggs we didn't get previously, and if we have a look at the pakus, they are now tamed. Come on, give me the paku. And we can now see their reproduction rate. It is 74% already for the first one and 8% for the second one. So this time around, they're not gonna lay 2 eggs at the same time. So one thing we need to change is to actually add the tropical fry eggs to this auto sweeper here. And then at the beginning of the next cycle, it should go ahead and pick these eggs up. Now, I don't want to risk anything. If they lay an egg before that, we are screwed and we're missing out on the actual egg that I want up here. So I'm just gonna activate the cycle sensor so we can get rid of these eggs. And there we go. Now they are not overcrowded anymore and pretty happy. Obviously, now we need to change the cycle sensor again to 1%. Now, one more thing I would like to add to this room is a limitation for the algae we can have in here. Currently, the way we have set this up, this is going to dump all the algae that we have in the base in this room. One thing we can do to prevent this from happening is use a weight plate that is connected to this conveyor loader. So if we go ahead and actually deconstruct this ladder piece at the weight plate, we can then go ahead and connect this. This also means the conveyor chute needs to move. So this will be the new space for my conveyor chute. Right now I'm storing the algae at priority 9 outside, so they are not gonna load up the conveyor loader. And then maybe in preparation for everything, we can already lay out the automation wire. Okay, while they are working a little bit inefficiently on this over here, we now have an eruption in 15 seconds. Let's watch it. There we go, erupting, good. New magma is coming down the line. Hopefully these igneous rock pieces will melt again. But there we go, we can already see immediately the igneous rock is being picked up as it is being formed right there. And we are now heating up the steam room again. And this actually goes pretty quickly. And now we have the second volcano almost erupting. Ooh, this is actually a lot of magma, holy cow. Let's see if we can deal with it. We are at 160 degrees, raising 170 almost, but looks like the steam turbines can keep up so far. But of course there's now a lot of magma we have to take care of. However, you can see now that we have exceeded a certain temperature, which at the moment is set to 190 degrees, the door is gonna close, and therefore this is not gonna cool down any longer until we are ready for new material. And therefore this is a system that actually adds up pretty niftily. As long as we don't get above 325 degrees, we're good. And it looks as though right now we can keep things up. Let's watch the fish tank once again. Oh, hang on. I think we have an egg on the way. Yeah, check this out. No, why is this egg going up? This should not go up. What's going on? Oh, of course, I have to set this to 4. I'm such an idiot. I have to set this to 4 because if it is 3, then we already have 3 entities in here and therefore the egg is just gonna continue. We still have the other paku reproducing, so maybe that is all gonna add up in the end. Hang on, actually it just worked. It just switched the directions. Ooh, that is interesting. So it is now right here where we want it. It's perfect. Of course, now we have polluted dirt in this area. So they did actually dare to poop right on top of this tile. A little bit disappointing, but I think we can just go ahead and pick this up here as well together with the eggshells. We're going back down to the volcanoes. Right now it is almost 200 degrees. Actually not too shabby. Oh, by the way, I also changed this thermocenter to 200 degrees instead of 250. So I want to cool them down even more. Wonderful. Now items are actually exiting the system right here at 200 degrees and therefore new items can be picked up. This is wonderful. And also right here you can see all of the igneous rock actually melted. Now the other volcano is erupting and it is giving us even more material to work with. But after that, and it shouldn't take too long, the flow of magma is gonna stop for like 15 cycles or so. So we have plenty of time to take care of everything. This minor volcano actually just went dormant and this one here is gonna erupt again in 13 cycles. So now we have time to process all of this magma. It is first going to cool down the stuff we have here, and after it has reached 190 degrees again, the door is gonna close and we can take on new materials. Wonderful. We are running things a little bit hotter than the capacity of the steam turbines, but that's just how it goes sometimes. Oh, I just noticed our limit is actually 275 degrees because of the conveyor loader. I built this out of steel, but we're still far away from that amount actually. Once again, I'm gonna have a look upstairs. Did they build this already? No, maybe I have to help them out a little bit, motivate them. Wait a second, I need to set this to above 4. No, that doesn't make sense. Yeah, it should be above 3. So once we get the 4th entity or the 2nd egg, then it should shut off. Okay, I was a little bit confused there for a moment. Oh, I know why they're not building it. I restricted access to this room, of course. Time to go ahead and set up this weight plate I've been talking about. Oh, wait a second. I need to get rid of the drywall as well. That admittedly is a little bit of a disadvantage to the drywalls. And also somebody just picked up a fry egg. Jeez, Ren, I'm not proud of you. Not at all. Well, I guess we can also incubate it. I mean, look at this number. It is actually increasing quite a bit. Yeah, the pakus are definitely much faster when it comes to breathing. Anyhow, weight plate, that's what I wanted to see here. And we're gonna limit this to approximately 500 kilograms. And of course, my duplicants will also resupply this. Weight plate at 500 kilograms. If it is above, no, if it is below, we want to send a green signal and above a red signal. So it's going to shut off the conveyor loader. We're almost done here with another egg, which should then be replacing the egg we just took away. And there we go. That should go in here. Oh my gosh, what is it doing? It's now just bouncing back and forth. That is quite intriguing. I've never seen this happen with anything in Oxygen Not Included. I mean, it's not even turning on and off a signal. It's just bouncing back and forth. Ah, I get it now. That's why I set it to below 4. Man, I'm so confused about these. So if we have 3 entities in there, it's gonna go through the shutoff, but then at the 4th entity, it's gonna go into the kill chamber. So now, yeah, there we go. That's what I wanted to see. Now we have this egg replaced. Somebody just needs to build the conveyor chute, and then I'm gonna tell them to not be able to enter this door anymore, which is much faster than making them toggling to lock. Of course, we did forget one rail, but let's check back at the volcano if everything goes smoothly still. We are at 220 degrees, so that's still 50 degrees away from our maximum. This is great, it's working. I think we can just leave this going. Okay, nice. Everything is done in this room. I'm going to replace these 2 tiles. Actually, we need to make sure they pick this up first. And then we're gonna restrict access to the door. May, please do something else. Okay, nice. It actually worked. Now we have 588 kilograms in here. You can see it is red and therefore also shutting off the conveyor loader. And they are not going to supply it anymore. And we still have some algae left to do something else with. Wait a second. What happened to the fry egg? What happened to my fry egg? Fry egg. No, I'm not cooking them. So, but they might have brought it over here. Yeah, they did bring the fry egg over here. I can't believe that. We actually don't really want that. We don't want to bring the hatchling eggs. I'm just gonna do actually sweetles and grubs for now. But draclet eggs and fry eggs also don't need to go in here. This is so unfortunate. Now I messed this all up. Luckily for us, there is another fry egg on the way. And hopefully this time I'm not gonna mess it up. You go through the conveyor shutoff. And it does take a while to incubate. But they will now keep on laying eggs. And they will be going into the kill chamber, eventually starving the fish. I'm glad we got this out of the way. Let's maybe check with the research again. That's not too hot just yet. How much did we do? 147 out of 300. Man, I'm gonna celebrate so much when I have this done with the research. I feel cheated in a way. Also, let's check with Otto. We still have overpressure going on. Are you still on the bench? No, but his stress level is still 37%. I wonder, where is he even at the moment? Otto? Ah, there he is. What are you doing? You're bringing over the polluted water. That is actually a good thing. Let me check the temperatures. Yeah, I cannot dig straight down anymore at this point. Otherwise, we're gonna run into troubles. I'm gonna need to give him some exosuit action as well. But maybe one thing we can do to lower the pressure a little bit is dig our way in here and actually get rid of all of this. So right here would be a couple of ladders, get rid of that generator and get rid of some of this flooring, I would say. And then of course we can lower the pressure by just taking away some tiles, digging them up. For each tile we dig up, we gain an extra 2 kilograms that we can distribute somewhere else. I just don't want to mess with the ethanol too much here. But we can do something similar on the other side and this should hopefully lower the pressure and also the stress. Yeah, looks like the machine here is running between 200 and 230 degrees at all times, which is a good thing, I would say. Also, if we check the temperatures, these should not overheat and we can also keep the auto sweeper pretty cold. Good stuff, I would say, and we will be ready for another eruption in 11 cycles. Wonderful. I came to a couple of horrible realizations. They must have changed something in the procedure how these things actually work. But if we have starving paku, they are impacted quite heavily in their reproduction rate. If they are starving, which they are if I only feed them 1 kilogram, they will not benefit from the happy bonus. This admittedly is a little bit of a problem, so I decided I'm going to reduce the amount of pakus we have in here by 1. This means normally we will have 2 pakus in there unless one dies. At the moment we have it set up so 3 pakus are in there, but I do not want to feed them like 90 kilograms of algae all the time. This actually also renders the cycle sensor useless, so I think I might just go ahead and remove this so we have this set up properly. Yeah, I'm gonna allow duplicants access to this again. I also set the feeders to 30 kilograms because that's usually what they want to eat. But in this case, we actually don't necessarily have to limit this. We can just set it to 200 kilograms and they will just take what they require in order to be happy. However, this means per farm we are gonna lose about 60 kilograms of algae instead of 2 kilograms. That means eventually we will have to find a way to replenish our algae resource. But yeah, I guess that is a change that I didn't realize actually happened. We're gonna go ahead and deconstruct the cycle sensor so the auto sweeper can do its thing. And then as mentioned, I wanna lower this number by 1. So instead we're gonna have 3 right here, and therefore if we already have 2 pakus in there, no more are gonna be added. I also fixed my railing problem here by setting up a bridge that goes up and down below, so there's no connection between these 2 tiles. And all the items have a clear direction to flow into. There's actually another thing we could feed them that you recommended me, which is nosh beans. However, they require a little bit of a setup in order to get going because their irrigation is ethanol. I'm actually gonna go ahead and kill off one of the pakus. At the moment, they are in a vicious cycle. I'm not sure what they are doing. They just keep on eating for some reason. Yeah, looks like this guy is a little bit bugged. He's eating and eating. I'm just gonna go ahead and eradicate this guy. We now have a new one, a tiny baby in the joint. It's gonna make sure the pakus live on. But that is a weird bug. This happened previously already. Not sure. But we can also see right here the pakus are actually coming in. The supply is working there. In the meantime, at the volcano, everything is still ongoing. We are now reducing the temperature. Most of the igneous rock has been taken away, and soon enough we can keep working on that magma. I'm gonna raise this guy to 200 degrees again. We need to work on this, just a little bit of fine-tuning. We kind of gotta make sure that this row here isn't filling up. I only want the magma here at the lowest layer, otherwise we might be pretty screwed. If the magma is touching these airflow tiles, this would not be very good. Anyways, I think Otto slowly but surely requires some more omelets. So let's make sure we deliver a load. And Frankie is the lucky guy, ensuring Otto's survival. Wonderful. And just like that, Otto has another 500,000 kilocalories. Oh, one more thing you might have noticed, I moved the weight plate because here at the bottom it was actually getting in the way of the auto sweeper being able to reach this tile. So that was a tiny stupid mistake on my part. I feel like we're not quite quick enough, so I'm gonna change this again to something higher. Let's go to 230 degrees, so the items are being transported out of the system quicker. We have almost reached the temperature. Now they are going out of the system again and more new items can enter. I might even go as far as 240 degrees. Let's just do 250. Why the heck not? I mean, I can deal with these temperatures. We just gotta make sure we are a little bit careful here. What we could also do is further cool them down using this system. Yeah, this would actually be a nice improvement. Just enlarge this cooling loop to accommodate a little tile where we are dumping the items and they can cool down in a pool of oil, for instance. This would make the system even better in my opinion. We have reached 250 degrees, so this is the hottest I've ever seen it. And of course this does make sense with so much magma at our disposal. Oh no, we actually managed to overheat it slightly. I set this up to 300 degrees. We now have to find the proper balance. Another option we have is to connect these wires, so I can set the sensor to like 225 degrees, which would dictate how much material the auto sweeper can put into the conveyor loader. Alrighty, I believe I figured out the settings that do somewhat work. This sensor here is set to 250 degrees, that's when we want the items to exit. Then this guy here is set to 210 degrees. We are going to close the door at 210 degrees, therefore picking up the heat. But if there is nothing to pick up because we don't have enough magma, then the auto sweeper can go to town. And all I did in order to accomplish this is add a NOT gate. So that means if we are below 210 degrees, we are gonna import more items. And this is keeping the conveyor loader at around 240 degrees maximum. So right now we are going through a load and soon enough the items are going to exit. And therefore we can start cooling down the entirety of the room. So I just did a bunch of tests and this way it kind of worked out. Now the question is, are we going to have way too much magma at certain points? We might have to change the strategy. We can still go ahead and for instance lower all the tiles by 1. Then I can store quite a bit of magma before it actually will touch the airflow tiles. I mean, so far we did have magma in this place, but it didn't touch the airflow tile because it is an airflow tile. It's kind of weird how they work, but if we had a solid tile right here, the magma would automatically connect to the tile and therefore heat it up. So I believe this is now working. I also decided where I want to set up my little pond here to cool down the igneous rock even more. So instead of bringing everything all the way over here, we are actually going to dump it in this place. And before we do that, we want to fill this up with something. Now, we probably don't have enough oil because oil would be perfect for this. Yeah, we just have 29 kilograms. I'm not sure this is enough. It might be enough and then we can add more later. What we need first and foremost is a liquid that can get really hot, at least 250 degrees. Actually, this makes me want to set up the sensor again. If we use oil, we can also have this at 300 degrees and we are not risking anything at all. So whatever, let's pick up the 29 kilograms of crude oil, put it right there. And then we can also set up a conveyor chute. I'm gonna wait with the connection until this is actually set up. But yeah, now essentially the room has to cool down to below 210 degrees before new material is being shipped over. And this way we should have taken care of everything. Now this volcano is gonna erupt in just a little bit and we will see what consequences that is going to have. The oil is actually already in place. This is a good sign. There we go with some more eruptions. Okay. Magma is incoming. Ah, this is actually good. Look at that. It is instantly turning into igneous rock. So yeah, if you wanted to make this system way more efficient, I would probably recommend more steam turbines. I mean, it's also more free power for you. Okay, we got the railing in place. Perfect. That means we can get rid of this system here. The eruption is over. We now have 13 cycles to clean up this mess, which I believe is gonna be plenty of time. At the moment we're cooling down the room, and then when we reach the 210 degrees we can continue. Okay, all we need to do at this point is keep observing everything. And then of course one last thing we want to do is take a little excursion here. If we do something like that, set up a radiant pipe here and then go back there, we will be keeping this spot of oil cool as well. And this way we should be able to reach fairly acceptable igneous rock temperatures. There, it's already in place. Wonderful. Sever this connection and you continue with your cooling loop. Wonderful. And we can already see this has a tremendous effect. Wonderful. Let's check out one more item load. I want to see this go below 210 degrees. Oh, got someone trapped. Gene. Oh no. Never mind. We just used the transit tube axis way too often. That happens sometimes. Okay, we're almost below the desired temperature, and if it goes on for long enough, then the auto sweeper will be able to perform the action. Curiously enough, there are always one or two items that remain ridiculously hot, while everything else cools down much quicker. There we go, just missed it, but another load has entered the conveyor loader, and now the procedure starts from the beginning. Interesting, we're gonna come back to this in about 12 cycles in order to see whether or not we were able to keep up. If we are not able to keep up, at least with the volcano's full activity, we will have to lower everything one block down so it never touches the airflow tiles. But I can deal with lots of lava. So to wrap up the episode, we are just gonna observe the items go into here, and we can also see they should be cooling down, at least as soon as it stops with the items. There we go, items have stopped and they are now gradually cooling down to a acceptable temperature. The good thing is also new items that are being added will take on the same temperature as items already on the floor. However, this only applies to one stack, so as soon as you reach like 25 tons, then a new stack is being created, which of course is then gonna have the original temperature of 300 degrees. But there we go, with that out of the way, a whole bunch of fixes, I would say we can wrap up the episodes. We now have a tame paku just doing its thing, and we should also have a bunch of pakus in here. Absolutely wonderful. Oh, this little kill chamber is gonna have hundreds of fish in it at some point. But I'm looking forward to it. With that out of the way, have a great time, and hopefully I'm gonna catch you in the next one. Bye bye.